Well, I'll be damned. I'm back already. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't got shit else to do. Ain't nothing else to do. I'm on vacation this week. I'm through smoking the blacks. Um, I'm back on my coffee though, y'all. The fast is over. So I'm back making another video. This will be thought two. I'm making 50 thoughts for those who didn't catch the intro. And after the 50 thoughts, it's either going to turn to something different or that'll be the rap. It'll be my effort in, trying to do the podcast and be helpful to my community. Hopefully, it'll turn to something else, bigger, better. But yeah, I'm gonna do 50 thoughts because that's just the simplest way of doing this whole introduction to a podcast. Since I'm brand new at it, don't know anything, learning. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there for those who just now following along. Today's thought, which this thought two, is about competition. And it's about how competitive the most competitive men are. I don't think I told my wife about how competitive a lot of men are, how I looked at the world, and it started from a young age too. I say probably around fifth grade. I wanted to fourth grade. I wanted to win at everything from fourth grade on up until I became not so competitive, which is probably around 38, 39, 40. Probably 40, closer to 40. So I wanted to just stress how competitive men are. Before I even do that though, I want to say how important it is to be competitive as a man. Um, Scientists have found that competitive situations, competitive scenarios promotes testosterone in men and women. I'll say it again. Competitive scenarios, situations promotes testosterone, higher testosterone levels in men and women, or boys and girls. Why is that important? Well, for men, we want to be our absolute most competitive. I don't personally believe that makes us toxic because we want to be competitive, ladies. We want to be competitive, and I'll give you a little bit of an example of why. So, by the time a boy gets fifth grade or so, I guess that's around 9, 10. Well, maybe that's the puberty, beginning of the puberty stage. Something kicks in, and something makes us want to win at everything. Why do we want to win at everything? Because we're competing with every man on the planet. So if it were 3 billion men on the planet, guess what I wanted to rank out of 3 billion men, ladies? And not just me. Most competitive men want to rank one of 3 billion men. Not 1.5 billion out of 3 billion. Not in the middle. We want to be number one. And that's a very tough task to ask of a man. How tough would you say it is? Well, for me, although I was younger than the men that I was looking at in sports, because I was all into sports, love sports. That's what probably made me so competitive. I had to compete with guys like Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time. I had to compete with him. Even though I knew I couldn't compete with him, in my mind I'm thinking at some point I gotta compete with him, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But I also had to compete with guys like Prince, the guy who was doing the most when it came to entertainment. He had all the ladies, we thought. So we had to compete with guys like him. We had to compete with guys like Michael Jackson. And from my generation, I was born in '78, so I was raised in the basically middle to late '80s into the '90s was that was the real area of emphasis for me becoming the highest rated man I could be in. For all men, it's probably somewhere around in that time period where we focus on being very competitive. Uh, and so there's a particular guy I remember. Shit, I'm in what, ninth, 10th grade. That's a particular guy I gotta compete with because he's one of the 3 billion guys in the world. And that man was none other than fucking Tupac Shakur. Now me, I'm living in Perry Homes at the time. That's a housing project. 10th grade. Uh, yeah, he was a hard motherfucker to compete with. You know what I mean? Music, TV, like from where I'm standing at, being a competitive male, still young, teenager at the time. How the fuck do I compete with a guy like this who got all the women, got the money, the fame? And so, what do? We just keep competing anyway. Now, through that competition, there's a couple guys who might get to scratch off the list. Oh, I think I got him. I think I got him. I think I got him. It's gonna be hard as hell to scratch Tupac off that list, though. You knew you gonna have to compete with that motherfucker from from the root to the tooth. Like, yeah, all the way. You gotta go all the way in as a male. And your most macho, uh, wear that most macho hat to be able to compete with this motherfucker, man. Like, I know people from my generation know. If you don't know, ask someone from my generation. Ask a woman. Was she in love with Tupac? Guarantee her motherfucking ass gonna say, yeah, that was my baby. Especially if she had a little bit of, we'll just say hood in her, I guess, so to speak. A little bit of neighborhood in her. She wanted him. At least that was the way that men from where I was from thought. Now, why is it so important that I compete with these men? What do we want? At the end of the day, as men, from being this competitive? It's a good question, ain't it? Well, the answer to that question is we don't want not now one of these other Negroes or men, period, to be able to get our motherfucking lady that we pick. So I gotta pick a woman that not only Michael Jordan can't get, Mike Tyson can't get, um, Prince can't get, Tupac can't get. How the hell am I supposed to do all this? Huh? How any man supposed to do all that? But that's how competitive men are. We compete to be one of 3 billion because we don't want one of those other 3 billion men to be able to touch our goddamn woman. That's how serious that shit is for a man. Now, some of y'all might look at this and say, oh, that's toxic masculinity. That's bullshit. It's what every man wants. Well, I shouldn't say every man. Pretty sure every man ain't that competitive. But for the most competitive men, that's what they want. And you can see it. They don't have that swag, that competitive nature. They ready to compete with every man on the planet. Not just right here in his neighborhood. Yeah, you gotta compete with them first. I gotta compete with motherfuckers at my school first. I gotta compete with the folks at college first. But then I still gotta compete with the rest of these motherfuckers out here. Cause guess what? If I run up somewhere where they at and I got my lady with me and they try to talk to my lady and they take my lady from me, guess what? I am a loser. Loser. Can't be no loser. I'm trying to be one of 3 billion. What y'all talking about? So I did this video just to be a little bit on the lighter side maybe it'll make one or two people laugh. But that shit real, man. Like, this is how competitive men are. And I went ahead and told y'all about why it's so important to get your children into competitive activities so that they can be the most competitive. Or maybe I didn't say that, but I'm saying it now. It's important. It boosts testosterone. Testosterone makes you even more competitive. But it also makes you more appealing. I didn't say this shit, somebody else said it. I'm just putting it out here. So, uh, I'm pretty sure this didn't come across exactly the way I wanted it to come across, but hopefully you get the gist of it. You get the point. This is my second video today, and I'm feeling a little froggy, ain't no telling. There might be a couple more coming. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, how about giving me a comment? If you like it, you like it. If you subscribe, I surely appreciate it. But once again, 50 thoughts. That's what I'm going to deliver to you through hell or high water. And after that, we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate you being here. And today's thought, or this thought, was about competitiveness. Competitiveness.